This is crispy and tender pork carnitas, and it's got bay leaves, cumin, oregano, chipotle powder, salt, lime, garlic, and onion. I am working with garlic first, and this is really old garlic. It's got, you can see the green sort of bitter root sprout growing out of it, and I'm just gonna take that out. It's not necessary if you're cooking with it. If you're eating it raw, it's necessary, but I'm just gonna chunk that garlic, take it out because I can, and set that aside. So I'm working with this onion, it's got a little mold on it. I want to make sure to get all the mold off of it. And I'm just going to chunk that up. Throw that in a pot. This is boneless pork shoulder. You can work with bone in if you want. I'm just going to trim the fat off the edges. Fat is good, but I also don't want an excess amount of fat that I'm going to skim off later. So I'm not digging for fat. I'm going to leave all of the internal fat inside of it and just chunk it into 1.5 inches. Throw that in a pot. So this is pork shoulder. It's also known as Boston butt or picnic shoulder. Picnic shoulder is the lower part. It's a little bit tougher, but either part will work. So don't let butt fool you. It's actually the shoulder. And that cut works perfectly for braising. So throw this all in a pot. You can do this on the stovetop, but my light is better over here. And then cover it by water, like by about 1.5 inches. Throw that on the stovetop and bring it to a boil covered and simmer it for 1.5 to 2 hours. If your pork starts like foaming and frothing, your heat is just too high. You can skim off that foam, or you can stir it in. It's just like some pork protein denaturing. It's not bad for you. So this is at 1.5 hours, and it's still not breaking up with the fork. I mean, I really want it to break up with fork. So I'm going 2 hours, and here it's going to, I'm trying to show you with a spoon and it's not going to work, but if you just run the fork on the side and start shredding easily, then it's ready. So strain that, and you can put this directly on the sheet pan. I'm trying to do this video, and I'm putting in different bowls, but you can strain it, put it on the sheet pan, and smash it on the sheet pan if you want. Let me say right now, once you shred this pork is ready to eat. Like, if you want to crisp it up, that's just a different texture and a different step. I like it a little bit crispy, but I'm not hungry. I'm just going to eat it like this. Let me also say that you can cook all these ingredients in a crock pot on low for 6 to 8 hours. And then you can also crisp it up in the oven if you want later. So at that point, your oven is at 450, and you're breaking this up into however large chunks that you want shredded. I'm gonna pick out a little bit of the fat. All right, so cook this at 450 for 10 to 15 minutes, or until it's crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. And then you're gonna scrape all this up, and hopefully you didn't overcook it, but if you did overcook it, you can troubleshoot it by adding some of that broth. I've been cooking the broth at a low simmer for the whole time that's been in the oven. Just a little bit more concentrates that flavor. And I'm going to add, because I'm storing this, I'm going to add another a cup or two of the broth, because the broth is really good concentrated. The pork will remain crispy and caramelized, but it will also have that concentrated pork flavor. With any of the leftover pork broth, you can make ramen, you can make spaghetti or pasta, soup, vegetables. Use it like you would a normal broth. Serve the carnitas with your favorite toppings, radishes, pineapple slices, mangoes, cilantro, guacamole, etc. Anyway, you can find this recipe at eatsimplefood.com.